A San Diego rapper who goes by Tiny Do, his real name is Brandon Duncan, is facing 25 years to life after a shooting took place, or a number of shootings took place in the San Diego area in 2013. Now, was Brandon Duncan tied to those shootings? No. Did he ever pull a trigger and kill anyone? No. Does he have a criminal record? No. So why has he been behind bars for the last 8 months of his life? Well, prosecutors in the area argue that he has a rap album out, and the rap album has lyrics that correlate with gang activity, and as a result, he should be prosecuted. Now, there's actually a law in California that could successfully prosecute him. Let me tell you what that is. The statute in question is California Penal Code 182.5. The code makes it a felony for anyone to participate in a criminal street gang, have knowledge that a street gang has engaged in criminal activity, or benefit from that activity.
I don't get it. Shouldn't Snoop and the entire NWA crew be in prison for decades based on this law? Yeah. This is insane.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to, what appears to be, I'm just guessing, knowing prosecutors, so I know, are above reproach, Cenk.
Yes, that's it. It would never do anything.
That was an old argument we used to have, that they want him to give up some information. They think he's in the gang. He may well be in the gang or knows the gang, and they are trying to pressure him into giving up some information, because I can't imagine you present this to 12 jurors and send a guy to prison for 25.
I don't know. I mean, my gut says that this is a guy who's, or the prosecutor who's like, get off my lawn, you damn kids. And he wants to send a message that, you don't get to rap about this stuff. You don't get to encourage this stuff.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, when I read the story, it immediately went to the ego of whoever this prosecutor is, who wants to even further tear down disenfranchised people. I mean, these kids, this is the only way they're able to tell their stories and have any leeway of getting out of the situation they're in. And now you have this arrogant asshole pulling up this outdated law. Give me a break.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible. So Brandon Duncan is a very rare case. Even though this statute was successfully passed in the form of a proposition, this hasn't really been utilized against anyone until now. And as I was reading this story, I'm like, okay, the prosecutors have to have more evidence of wrongdoing. It can't just be that he had a rap album out. And I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe he has lyrics that can allude to what happened during those shootings. No, nothing like that. In fact, here's what the prosecutors point to as questionable lyrics. Prosecutors point to Tiny Do's album, No Safety, and to lyrics like, ain't no safety on this pistol I'm holding, as examples of a direct correlation to what the gang has been doing.
Yeah.
That's nonsense. That's
crazy.
No, so that's what I mean. I don't doubt that you're right at all, that there's tremendous arrogance with this prosecutor. But I'm telling you, they've had him in. They can't get a conviction. So therefore, the arrogance is there, but they're trying to get him. This is what prosecutors do all the time,
But they're not going to get anything out of him from that. I mean,
well, he's been in prison for 8 months. At some point, you may be like, all right, man.
Not at all. All this is doing is telling Tiny Do, which first of all is a stupid name. Let me make that clear, just in case no one else could say that. But all it's doing is giving him social cred. It's giving him street cred.
That's right.
And he's never going to snitch. That is the code of the African American community. You're not going to snitch. And if you have any involvement, you're not going to tell anyone. Yeah. So you're not going to get anything.
Now, I actually think it's an enormous outrage that he spent 8 months in prison already. Forget the 25 years he's facing, because Ben's right. You're never going to convict him on this. Look, if there was a lyric that said, hey, remember what we did on 87th Street when we put 2 bullets in John and 3 in Bob. Okay, and that's what happened. All right, now we're having a conversation. But I don't have a safety on my pistol. Direct correlation on which planet? That's insane. Is there a gang with a safety in their pistols?
And by the way, initially what the prosecutors were arguing about wasn't even his lyrics. They had a big issue with the cover of his album, which was just simply a picture of a gun. Okay, and then I guess they realized,
what happened to the Second Amendment rights?
No, it's amazing. Look, Second Amendment rights only apply to a certain group of people in this country, right? If you're of a different demographic, then it's okay to shoot you and kill you, even if you haven't done anything wrong. But
I love how we got politically correct for a second there. Didn't say white and black for some reason. Certain demographic.
Anyway, well, they know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because they don't have enough of a case, and I feel like now the prosecutors are stretching and they're like, let's look for violent lyrics and maybe that'll help us out. Look, right now, those shootings are unsolved, okay? They don't have real suspects in this case. the gang members that they assume or allege were involved in the shooting are also behind bars, but they don't have enough evidence against them. So Ben might be right that this is an effort of them trying to get evidence through him.
They're just gonna make him look like a badass.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all that's going to happen.
But the other thing is, look, let's say the prosecutors know something that we don't know. To Ben's point, maybe that he's somehow involved, but they can't really prove it and they can't say it in public, yada yada. If you give him every benefit of the doubt, dude, you had 8 months. If you don't have it, you gotta let him go.
Yeah.
Look, the murders are heinous, and we want the guys who actually did it to be caught. But you can't hold a guy you think might have evidence in the best case scenario, right? For 8 months, you just can't.
No.
That's not how our system works.
Charge him with a real crime. If you got it, if he did something. Here, a couple of things prosecutors said. Well, details from the Guardian. Details sparse, evidence presented against Duncan is reportedly thin. You think? Prosecutors appear to be operating on the premise that criminal activity by others benefits sales of his album. And then the prosecutor.
Well, that's a ridiculous proposition.
We're not just talking about a CD of anything, of love songs, said Deputy District Attorney Anthony Campagna.
No.
And then the main prosecutor, San Diego District Attorney's
Yeah.
Office, declined to comment to the Guardian, instead pointing to comments by the gang's division chief prosecutor, Dana Greason, who said, rap music, it's just another form of communication that gang members use.
Well, then why don't you arrest every rapper in San Diego?
Exactly.
And also, does it also extend to violent movies, violent video games?
you.
I mean, there's so much violent media out there, and it should be allowed out there. It's a form of expression. There is no hard evidence indicating that rap music leads people to get out on the streets and shoot people and kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
This has got to be a bigger cause, man. In good conscience, I cannot wear a shirt that says "Release Tiny Do." Or free your Tiny Do. But free Brandon Duncan has got to be a shirt that people are wearing around.
What about wearing like a do-rag or something, like tie it in, you know what I mean? Would you wear that maybe down the street?
I mean, look, I get why it's do, but I wouldn't, I mean, and if you're going to go do, I would have gone larger. I wouldn't have been like, I'm a Tiny Do.
It's funny when Anna was reading the story and she was like, Tiny Do, whose real name is Brandon, and I was thinking, please be Brandon Do. But and the thing of it is, like, he might be in the gang, and here's the thing: it doesn't matter
at all.
Like, you don't have him, you don't have it, you don't have it. You wait until you arrest people when they've committed a crime. When you have evidence they commit the crime, you can't. Whether he's in the gang or not.
Now, Ben's right. That's the best case scenario for the prosecutor, right? But what's horrible is that we're having this conversation when it sounds like he arrested him just because he doesn't like rap music.
Yeah.
And now, all of a sudden, like, there's this real conversation about whether he's in the gang or not when there's no goddamn evidence that he's in any kind of gang. He has no criminal record whatsoever. And the prosecutor says, rap music kind of contributes to gangs. And that's my justification for arresting this guy.
And also, but I mean, it also suggests that there are kids in neighborhoods who've never committed a crime who, under this pretense, then could be affiliated with a gang. Their friends are in a gang, and then sometimes the friends are in the gang. They went and got cheeseburgers with the guys who were in the gang because they went to school. Like, where does this stop?
You're definitely taking disenfranchised communities and saying, if you are living here, then we're going to make sure that you have no future at all. And that's exactly what he's trying to do here. He's sending a clear message that I don't care about you, you don't have any value, and I'm going to make sure that you know you don't have any value because even though you've done nothing wrong, have no criminal record, but you're using an art form that they have used for 30, 40 years to better yourself, I'm going to lock you up.
You know what rappers should do? I'm serious. Ice Cube, Snoop, all those guys. They should turn themselves in San Diego. They should say, here are my rap lyrics. They are no different than Tiny Do's. In fact, I got news for you. They're a little worse.
Right, they're a little worse,
187 on an undercover cop, let alone all the other things, and just turn themselves in. Say, if you're going to arrest Brandon Duncan, you have to arrest all of us.
Yeah.
Well, that would be cool.